Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at the SH Figuarts KRILLIN in Battle Clothes from Dragon Ball Z. And the reason I didn't review this sooner is because when I got it, I was very irritated by it and forgot I owned it. No joke, I should have reviewed it like a month ago, and I totally forgot I had it. This is maybe one of the worst releases they've made in a... I don't have a string connected to the figure. That happened coincidentally at the perfect time. One of the worst releases they've had in a very, very long time. So let's go ahead and get him off the stand and take a closer look. This guy stands roughly 4 3/8 inches, which makes him just about, we'll call it 11 centimeters. Here he is up against Darwin. Whoa. Okay, so he's a little bit shorter than Darwin, I guess. Anyway, let's go ahead and do a question of the day. Are you fed up with the bad releases that are also Premium Bandai? Or any bad releases at all from Bandai? I am. These are supposed to be the premium figures. And half of them are great, but half of them are not. I don't know what's going on, but these Premium Bandai figures are turning out worse and worse. So I'm just going to dive into the major problem I have with this figure. Well, there are two. One, the way his ankles and legs are done, he leans back no matter what. Like unless you lean his legs forward, he can't have his feet flat in a neutral pose. He's always leaning back, which is why he fell over on the display stand, even though I have him leaned forward at the hips. That's one thing. We'll talk about that a little bit later in the articulation section. The other thing is, if you look at his head right here, it's molded plastic. Standard PVC, like every Dragon Ball figure they've ever released. Here's Gohan, by the way, for height comparison, and I'll show you his head. So KRILLIN is taller and bigger, and I think they actually look really good together. So like they're going to look fine on the shelf if you don't get too close to them, but PVC, bare PVC for the flesh tones. They've always done that. And this head has that. Bare PVC. He has 4 alternate heads, every one of them solid paint. Look at the different, you can see they look different. Look at the ear. You can see one is filled with paint and one isn't. They're a different color. Hopefully it's showing up on camera. They hold the light differently. These are more shiny because they're paint. Solid PVC will absorb some more light than paint does. Paint will reflect more light. They look shinier. It's a different color. It's a more saturated, pinker skin tone. What the heck? It doesn't match the rest of the body. I don't know what they're doing. The quality on these figures is just going downhill. Consistency downhill. I don't get it. It's weird. That being said, I do think he looks pretty good overall. They did do the armor justice with the dark, shiny, bluish, grayish black. That's fine. The white line work is good. We have the molded plastic for the yellow parts. That's fine. The armor on the boots, it's okay. It generally looks okay, but not being able to use the alternate heads without him looking goofy is pretty weird. I do think they did a decent enough job with the proportioning, although his shoulders are ridiculously wide. But early Dragon Ball Z, you can kind of justify it. So yeah, I think it looks okay. It's perfectly passable, but it's not premium. Premium Bandai shouldn't be crappier figures that they are afraid won't sell. That's super annoying to me, and that's what they're doing. They're not premium, they just cost more because they're selling fewer of them. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. Aesthetically, this guy's fine. His head sculpt is good enough. The paintwork that's on the head is clean across all the heads, but it's just not enough. I'll give it a 7 for being passable. But even on his armor right here, there's a big scuff. And his head, I had to clean it. The whole backside of his head had some black goo on it. I don't know what it was, but I had to clean that off. So yeah, really not happy about this whole Premium Bandai situation. So let's dive into the accessories. As far as heads go, you have the neutral stern head, unpainted head that you saw on him. It comes on him in the package. Then you get the other stern head. Then you get the teeth showing head. Then you get the one yelling head. And then you get the more yelling head with a sweat drop. That's all fine. You get alternate armor for the chest, which was just like Gohan. It's worthless. It's technically helpful a little bit, but this whole shoulder pad design has to go. This is horrible. You can't pose things properly with the shoulder pads the way they are. Having a slightly narrower chest barely solves that, so I don't like that at all. You do have alternate armor for the battle damage, which is pretty cool, from when Frieza gave him indigestion. You get that, so that's nice. No actual battle damage on his body. This is post resurrection, I guess. So that's fine. Then you have alternate hands. You have the 2 fist hands that come on in the package, and then all the usual hands you would expect to get. So that's fine. And then lastly, we get 1-star Dragon Ball. It's not as jacked up as Gohan's, though mine does have a few of those weird lines in it. And mine happens to have a big, like round circular spot behind the 1 star, which is kind of annoying and ugly. But it's still a nice enough looking activated Dragon Ball. So accessory wise, I'll go 7 out of 10. The painted head, ruin it. The alternate chest piece, because they won't give you alternate shoulder pads, ruins it. Alternate shoulder pads, alternate chest piece, just like Jace. You've done it. That's what you need to do. We need to have different shoulder pads. This hinge design, it doesn't work. I've been saying it, and it's a fact. It does not work. Okay. So far, no good. Let's go ahead and do the articulation. Perfect opportunity to do a double ball peg. They didn't do it. This one will work, obviously, because there's nothing to encumber him. The hinge will work fine. You can rotate it around. It'll pose fine, but a double ball peg's easier, cheaper, and more functional. But this one does work, so that's okay. Shoulder pads, as I mentioned, are hinged, which means the shoulders are going to be severely limited in posability if you want anything to look good. The butterfly joint is super effective, just like water against rock, but the shoulder pads have to do that for it to work. So it's just like, I'm going to stick these guys on the shelf and never pose them because the shoulder pads have to float up into nowhere land. And you have to have an alternate chest piece just to use the arm. But you really don't even need that, because look at that, his shoulders are so broad, you can bring him across the chest without the alternate chest piece. This is the problem, not the chest. I don't know what's going on over there. The shoulder pads are the problem. It's so weird. The arm connects to the butterfly on a ball peg, that's fine. The hinge, no problem, better than horizontal, no issues there. And it's a little stiff, that hinge. You do get your bicep swivel, that's also a little bit stiff. Single jointed elbow, just 90 degrees, that's not great at all. And then a little ball hinge for the wrist. So far, we are not looking much better in the articulation department than we did in the other departments. Leaning him back, let's see, is there a hinge? If there's a hinge, it doesn't work like this normal hinge. He does lean back that far, which I guess is okay. And then leaning forward. Oh, there's some kind of hinge in there. It just doesn't work like normal. Ugh. What the? Okay. So the hinge is tiny and worthless. You can see why it does almost nothing. It's so tiny and worthless. And then the ball peg. What if I told you guys about ball pegs? Big balls. You need big balls. I don't care about the peg. It's the balls that matter. And this guy has a little ball and a little hinge, and his torso articulation is bad as a result. So there's that. You do get a little bit of rotation on it, but it doesn't really want to do it. These guys have hinges on them to help them get them out of the way. We'll see how much of a difference that makes. Down here you do get a little bit. Are you kidding me? What is going on? I reviewed a bootleg the other day that didn't fall apart this much. The ball peg for the torso is okay. It allows a little extra lean. That's where you're going to get your waist twist. Yeah, leaning side to side. Any leaning is just, it's fighting you the whole way because of the tolerances and the way they designed it. Not good. Bringing the leg up. Oh my gosh. Bringing the leg up. You can only get it that far before this is in the way, even though it has the hinge. Because the hinge doesn't get it out of the way. They need to stop designing things poorly. This is just unacceptable for the price points. This is nuts. It can technically go back and forward all the way if this isn't on here, but oh my gosh. I'm getting irritated by this figure. I told you that's why I forgot to review it. I put it away, never looked at it again. So it goes out to the side, all right. Every time I move this damn thing, it falls off. Thigh swivel is acceptable, that's fine. Double jointed knee. Not better than 90 degrees and pretty ugly. For just a bare human knee, that is really... Oh my god, it popped off again. I'm leaving it off. That's not a good knee. What is that? That's a tumor, is what that is. So, nope, don't like that. And then the ankles. I'm pulling it off to see what we have going on. Alright, I'm not going to pull it. It looks like it's a ball hinge. Which is like, I've been asking for ball hinges, but not the world's tiniest ball hinge recessed completely so that it's unusable. This is worse. They're going backwards. They're officially going backwards at this point. This release is awful. This is the worst ankle they've made, maybe. It has the tiniest little bit of range. A toe hinge that has a lump sticking out of it, so you can't use it. What a piece of crap. This pissed me off. This figure is bad. It's bad. Articulation, 2 out of 10. What a piece of junk. Okay, so time for a final verdict on this release. It's not good. It's actually one of their worst releases ever, frankly. The aesthetic is not enough to save it. Oh, I didn't mention the neck. The neck is on a ball peg, by the way. Totally forgot that. Best part of the articulation is the neck. This is easily one of their worst figures. The aesthetic is okay, not counting the alternate heads. The articulation is terrible. Accessories are average because half of them are painted wrong. So, and he can't stand properly. What a mess. And Premium Bandai? Nope. Time for a final rating. 2 out of 10. Worst figure they've made, at least that I can remember. It's bad. Limbs popping off, paint jobs all jacked up. What the heck? Where's this one made? Where's the box? Hang on. This doesn't seem to be a thing anymore, but it is made in Vietnam. So maybe the Vietnam factory is really inconsistent and some of them are good and some of them are bad. But this really bothers me. And coming off the heels of a bootleg review, a third-party review from Demoniacal Fit, you know, a lot of people said, I like them because of the competition. Yes, I agree. Competition is always good for the consumer. A lot of people said, I like third party because it keeps these first party companies in check with pricing and quality. Again, that's basically just competition. I agree. It's not a matter of that. It's a matter of what is ethically okay. And you can make the argument, I don't care what's ethical. I care what's going to get me the best product, and that's fine. I'm not making an argument either way. But this is not a strong case against third party figures. This is horrible, and it's at a ridiculous price point. Very disappointing. This is on the do not buy list, frankly. So there it is, guys. Let me know what you think about all of this, and if you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, you can give it a thumbs down, and if you haven't subscribed, you should. I have new videos almost every single day and thousands already on the channel, so make sure you come back for all of that. In the meantime, keep collecting.